Hey folks, Sega Sonic fan here, and I got a birthday present. Oh yeah! This is the Sonic CD 3LP vinyl soundtrack, because for those that don't already know, vinyl is superior. It's superior, folks. Just accept it. It's the greatest way to hear music. So happy that records are coming back into vogue, they're making them again, and that they're making game soundtracks of all things. This is by Data Discs, which a lot of people know by now, I'm sure, producing a lot of video game soundtracks. And this one, online and maybe in this video, does not look that good. But when you see it in person, the print actually looks pretty darn cool, the print quality. And maybe I can zoom in and give you an idea of, it's pretty good actually. I was a little bummed when I saw this online because it seemed a little unimaginative. I wanted them to have more of a background or stuff like they did for Sonic Mania, which I can show you. Pull out my Sonic Mania here. The Sonic Mania soundtrack, by the way, is fantastic on vinyl. It's so good. I was stoked to get the original limited edition version with the splatter vinyl. And I mean, this cover is just it's so cool. And it's very inspired. It's got a fold out, like a gatefold image inside as well. Very cool stuff. This was the first Sonic thing on vinyl ever, almost ever. I don't think Sega ever did an official one in the 90s. So very excited about that. That was a cool deal. And now I'm very excited about this. More Sonic vinyl is a good thing. And I'm hoping we eventually can get some of the Genesis stuff, like Sonic 2 on vinyl. So if we look here, though, we got Sonic CD, Sonic CD, original game soundtrack, 3x 180 gram vinyl. 3x art prints, composer notes, digital download code. Something to note, this is a 3LP soundtrack. If you're planning on keeping one of these sealed forever or for a really long time, I don't recommend it because as you can see, it's already bending there. You see it's already being warped by the shrink wrap. So if you keep this in storage for a decade or whatever without opening it, you might have a rude awakening to some warped vinyl. And you can see it's really on there tight. It's actually pushing down both sides around the records themselves. I was a little bummed that this is not a gatefold, but it's just like a sleeve pocket with 3 LPs put inside. I did actually send an email to Data Discs saying like, hey guys, can you not do that for your next release? Because these are not cheap. I think this RS MSRP'd for $50, $60. I mean, it was not a cheap record. So I do think there's some things they could have done a little better there. But that said, this is Sonic CD on vinyl, folks, and that is a big deal. It's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, and we have the Japanese/European soundtrack. I do hope they do Spencer Nelson's brilliant US soundtrack at some point, because I actually prefer that one. That one's amazing. But the Japanese one is fantastic as well. It's a lot more funk oriented. It's got a lot of funk samples. And a friend of mine who actually got this for me can tell you all those different samples and stuff. Very cool. They have the footage reel, of course, from the anime intro. Very sweet. And I'm going to show you just real quick how I open records, because, I don't know if there's like a set way people do this, but I recommend using an X-Acto knife and going very carefully along the edge, making sure not to nick any of the internal paperwork or the records themselves. Go ahead and get some more light and just show you how I do this. And just very, very, very gentle. I like to keep the shrink wrap on stuff. I think it's cool over the years, but if you do keep the shrink wrap, if it's really tight, this one might loosen up once I open it, but you can kind of make an incision along the back, like halfway in the middle, and that'll loosen the pull on the record itself, so you can keep the shrink wrap on for kind of cool nostalgic feels later. Also, it keeps the cover in better condition, and that way, but then not also risk damaging your nice expensive vinyl. And vinyl is expensive. It's probably the most expensive way to listen to music. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's like reel-to-reel and stuff like that. But it's worth it, folks. It really is. If you have a good setup, It sounds so different. It kind of amazes me just how different it sounds. And my setup is pretty decent at the moment. I'm really happy with it. I have this old Technics M1200 MK2 that I repaired. 1200 MK2. I got this at a thrift store, so it was definitely really beat up, really broken. I had to do a bunch of repairs on it, but it was really cheap as a result. And I got here a nice Ortofon OM2 needle cartridge and stylus combination. This was really expensive. I spent a long time before I decided to upgrade. Really glad that I did, but you know, this is $100. That setup over $100, so it's a lot of money. For people that are starting out, I wouldn't recommend necessarily going that deep into it. What you can do though is get something like this. These are about $50, and these will give you a really nice, solid sound. I would say this is the minimum though, getting the AT95E. You don't want to get anything below this. If you're getting anything below that, you're probably, I guess you could get an LP60 or something, which is a decent Audio-Technica table, but you're really shortchanging yourself, because if you're spending money on vinyl, you might as well have a decent needle to enjoy it. So that's what I recommend. They do make the LP120, which is like a knockoff of this table, and a lot of people are really happy with those, and I definitely, you know, they definitely do the job. To me, this table is just like, oh, I mean, just super heavy, super high quality, all made in Japan. You know, these tables were thousands when they were new, and you know, you can get them now for a few hundred, but that's a lot of money. So unless you're lucky and you find a really broken one for cheap, like I did, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow if you're new to vinyl. But I do recommend having a nice quality table, nice quality needle, so you can enjoy the good stuff. Let's go ahead, and I got this all open here. And we have the, looks like we have the regular black sleeves that Data Discs does their releases. Very cool. These are nice, I forget the type of plastic they use, but much better than the paper sleeves. They don't scratch up your records. So that's good. Good. So they're nice and heavy, man. That 180 gram vinyl, you can really feel it. As you can see in shipping, the corners didn't get mashed up, so I'm really happy about that. And let's see what we got for the artwork and inserts here. We got the cover. Very cool. And I love to set these behind my turntable. Like so, when I'm playing the record, they look really nice. Got some Badniks. Interestingly, looks like the computer rendered. I wonder if they did this back in the day or if this is new. But a lot of times they would use like Amiga computers and stuff to 3D render. They had 3D rendering software before they would do the sprite work for the Genesis, or in this case, the Sega CD/Mega Drive. So we got that. Looks very cool. And then we have Sonic CD itself. Very cool. And so yeah, my one kind of gripe is that I feel like they could have done a little more imaginative stuff with the background than just doing the tiles. But you know, these are kind of a freebie. You're really paying for the music, and it does look pretty cool when you got that all set up. And then I think I saw this in one of the other videos. Yeah, check it out, folks. We got Chaos Emeralds inside the sleeve. That is cool. I like that. There's another one over there. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. I think the presentation could use some work, but let's get to the music, because that's what this is really all about. But still, I mean, still not bad. You know, I think if this was a $30 album, I wouldn't care. But let's see. Looks like I got the blue vinyl here, and that's cool. They did blue, black, and then they also did a limited edition blue and green splatter. The limited editions are always a lot of money, you know, or they can be later on. And that's because they're earlier pressings, so, you know, theoretically they sound a little better. But I think it's mostly a collector's thing. I doubt it sounds that much better, if it's even noticeable, to be honest. Technology's come a long way. And let's go ahead and just listen. This, by the way, is the very overpriced but still useful, very useful. The, what is it called? The Onzo It's a stylus cleaner. These are like $40. It's really a lot of money for what it is, but it works really well. And I did some research. They're supposed to last a long time, so went ahead and bit the bullet on that one as well. Vinyl's not cheap, but it's worth it, I think. All right. Sounding pretty nice. That was pretty darn nice. Wow. I can just tell from that one track there that the remaster on this has a lot more detail than the CD version even. At least to me. That was very impressive. Very impressive. And I like that they did one loop of the track and then kind of a fade out. With gaming music, because the tracks are seamless, they're meant to be seamless looping, you can kind of get songs sometimes that just go on for too long. They get a little too repetitive. But at least with that track so far, I think they did a very good job making sure that didn't happen. Wow, the detail there sounded great. The bass sounded amazing, and it just the detail in the audio itself. I'm very curious if this was mastered on 24-bit samples or 24-bit audio instead of the 16 that you get with the CD. In any case, this gets my seal of approval. The audio is what people said was good about this, and that's why I got it, or why I asked for it. And boy, that audio sounded really good. I'm going to turn off my camera and enjoy this without technology, because that's one of the beautiful things of vinyl, is it's analog. You don't need to be on your phone or whatever. But yeah, I'll report back if people are interested. Feel free to message below or whatever. And yeah, very good job with the audio quality. Please buy vinyl, support vinyl. It's coming back. It's awesome. It's the new thing to do, man. That's actually the old thing to do. Hope you learned and enjoyed from this video. This is Sega Sonic Fan, signing out.